In 2 days from now, the United Nations will complete 75 years of its existence. But a major row could derail the celebration. Earlier this year, a gag order was issued. United Nations civil servants were barred from participating in public demonstrations. Those orders were subsequently withdrawn, but the controversy has now taken a life of its own. Our next report tells you all about it.
It was on this day, in the year 1945, that the United Nations was born. Delegates from 50 countries gathered in San Francisco. Together, they signed the United Nations Charter and laid the foundation of the world body. Today, 75 years later, those very foundations are being tested by the members of the world body, and even by those who work inside its headquarters in New York. Civil servants of the United Nations are demanding their right to protest. It began early this year. The Black Lives Matter protest in the United States was gathering steam. But UN employees couldn't speak out. According to this report, they were under a gag order. The UN Ethics Office told the personnel to steer clear of public demonstrations, even in their free time. The orders allegedly had the endorsement of UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. But after strong opposition, he changed his stand. Reportedly, a town hall meeting was arranged in June. UN employees were allowed to participate in the protest, but only in their private capacity. Also, they were not allowed to wave the flag of the UN at the protest. But the row didn't end. Even when the Secretary-General gave the go-ahead, staffers at the UN Development Program received a gag order of their own. Neil McCann, an employee at the UNDP office in Brussels, has now filed a complaint against it, calling the ban on employees an abuse of authority. McCann has accused the UNDP ethics chief Peter Liria of trying to muscle UNDP staff standing up against racism. With barely days left for the United Nations Day, the world body finds itself in an awkward spot. The United Nations pushes member countries to promote free speech, expression, and the right of assembly. But as an organization, the UN is restricting its own staff from exercising the same fundamental rights. This situation reflects the larger crisis that the United Nations faces today, the crisis of relevance. The UN completes 75 years of its existence in a year when the world is gripped by a pandemic. In the words of the Secretary-General himself, the pandemic is a clear test of international cooperation, a test that the United Nations has failed. That statement by the Secretary-General to a meeting of the Security Council in September hinted at how helpless the world body is today. There is no doubt that the United Nations needs reforms. The best place to begin is always with itself. Reform, like charity, begins at home. Bureau Report, WION. World is One.
Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION. World is One.